You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for being with us this Thursday. I'm Ann Makovic. Here's a look at some of our news headlines this morning. Neighbors believe 2 young girls are among the 4 people found dead inside a home in San Francisco yesterday. The other 2 believed to be their parents. Authorities found the bodies on Monterey Boulevard in Westwood Highlands after a relative requested a welfare check.
I'm in shock. I do not have the word yet. I'm wondering how to explain my kids the situation.
Now, police have not said anything yet about a cause of death. They do say this is an isolated incident with no ongoing threat to the community. There are celebrations in the Middle East as Israel and Hamas make a move toward ending the 2-year war. The deal calls for Hamas to release all remaining hostages and for Israel to withdraw its forces to an agreed-upon line.
So important for us. We want peace. We want the hostages back. We want to stop the war.
There are still some procedural issues to iron out, but President Trump says the hostages could be released by Monday. The Fleet Week shows will go on starting tomorrow in San Francisco. Despite the government shutdown, the Canadian snowbirds have flown into town and the Ark Gloria has pulled into port. Now this year, there's not going to be a parade of ships since the U.S. Navy is not participating. The Blue Angels still looking very unlikely, but the air show is still taking flight this weekend. It kicks off tomorrow at 12:15. Now to our first alert weather, meteorologist Jessica Birch tracking our next chances of some rain around the bay.
It's another cool and cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area, which is wild to think that earlier this week we were talking about 90s off into places like Antioch and upper 80s all the way up into the North Bay. That's not the case as we head into this afternoon. As we tilt the camera high, I just want to kind of paint this picture. Throughout the next 24 hours, we'll be dealing with light onshore showers, cooler weather in the forecast for us, about 10 degrees below average today in places like Santa Rosa, and we're seeing a similar pattern all the way down into places like Morgan Hill too. You take a look behind me as we continue to see this cold front push in. It is going to bring in just a light mist of showers. If anything, it'll amount closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain in places like the Mill Valley, all the way over into San Francisco too. Mostly just cloudy skies for us as we head into this afternoon, continuing to push in from offshore. Wind gust will get anywhere up to around 15 to 20 miles per hour today in our inland spots, a little bit breezier along the coast. Now I'm advancing the clock all the way into Friday evening. We'll continue to see light showers push throughout the North Bay, a chance of light showers pushing throughout the rest of the Bay Area before Saturday, but that's in the overnight hours. So for the most part, as we dive into this Fleet Week weekend, we're just talking about nice, cool weather. 60s on tap for us from Friday into Sunday with cloudier skies both Friday and Saturday. A beautiful warm up and a little bit of sunnier setup too as we head into this weekend for Sunday's forecast. Now we head into next week. By Monday, we're right back to rainy conditions. A better chance of heavier showers on tap for us by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So we kind of get this a little bit of a break. Light drizzle in the forecast today and tomorrow. Heavier conditions as we head into next Monday, but Saturday and Sunday right behind me. We're just holding on tight to 70s in our inland areas and partly cloudy and mostly sunny conditions. You make your way over into the Bay, it looks very similar too. We'll keep you updated on this forecast here in the Weather Center as changes are on the way.
We are just a day away from the return of Fleet Week action, and while things are looking a little different this year, there's still a lot to look forward to. The air show schedule has just been released. Here is a look at the lineup this weekend. Opening ceremonies kicking off at 12:15 p.m. tomorrow, followed by several civilian and international performers. That all leads up to the main event, the air show from the Canadian Snowbirds. That starts just before 3 p.m. The Snowbirds swooped into the Bay Area yesterday. Their 9 jet formations flying at speeds up to 350 miles per hour. At times, their wings are less than 6 feet apart. And the flagship of the Colombian Navy, the Ark Gloria, is docked in San Francisco. It is going to be open for free tours throughout the weekend. And tomorrow, you can check out our San Francisco Fleet Week Spectacular. We're going to bring you the air show live. That action starts at 2 p.m. on KPIX and streaming on the free CBS News app. Senate Republicans could be changing their tactics to try to end the government shutdown that is now stretched into its 9th day. With Republicans and Democrats at a stalemate, Senate Republicans say they could hold votes on standalone bills to fund parts of the government, including a defense appropriations bill to pay the military. Democrats say they are fighting for health care subsidies that help people pay for plans on the Affordable Care Act. But Republicans say this is not the time.
Because we're operating in good faith. What's our goal, our strategy? To keep the lights on for the people of this country so that we can have their Congress working to resolve all these issues. They're trying to make this about health care. It's not. It's about keeping Congress operating so we can get to health care. We always were going to.
How could they possibly expect those of us of faith, hope, and charity to support legislation that gives $4 trillion in tax cuts to the richest people in our country and corporate America at the expense of taking food out of the mouths of babies, taking health care from poor children?
Speaker Johnson says Republicans are on standby to return to the Capitol in the next 48 hours. Air traffic controllers have been working without pay since that shutdown started. The FAA says there have been more sick calls coming in, leading to those control tower shortages we've been reporting on. Labor unions representing government and transportation workers are calling for an end to the shutdown. They say the uncertainty is leading to safety concerns in the skies. Today, the regional vice president of the Air Traffic Controllers Union told us it is still safe to fly.
We get a report every day of where staffing triggers. Staffing triggers are what happen when they determine a facility doesn't have the appropriate amount of air traffic controllers, and then they'll put in the mitigations for the traffic flying into whatever respective airport they were going into. If there's a shortage, then we're going to increase miles in trail where, you get a plane every 10 miles as opposed to every 3 miles. So there's a bunch of different things you do when there's a staffing shortage. But when I look at the report that comes out every morning, it's very similar to what we saw before the government shut down. I wouldn't necessarily, there's an uptick in some degrees, or maybe, but not enough of an uptick that's going to have an impact to the flying public that did not exist previously.
Travelers might see delays and a few long lines at airports as the shutdown drags on. And we are going to continue to follow the government shutdown and its impacts across the nation and here in the Bay Area. You can find updates anytime on our website, kpix.com, and streaming on the free CBS News app. The ballots are being mailed out and early voting is underway for California's special election on Prop 50. That measure is designed to redraw district lines in favor of Democrats. This new poll from research firm Coefficient shows most Californians do support Prop 50, 54% of likely voters in favor, 36% against, 10% still unsure. Today is part of our series on Prop 50. Lauren Toms takes a look at what's on stake on both sides.
We're just calling viewing House votes today to remind them about the special election that's happening.
Elementary school teacher Regina Chagoya is spending her evenings campaigning in favor of Prop 50. It's a measure that she says could restore public resources her students rely on, with the goal of restoring democratic power in Washington.
I teach my students how to be fair, right? How to vote for decisions, play in recess with rules, and how they just can't change the rules in the middle of a game. And I'm seeing politicians doing that. They're just changing the rules in the middle of this work, and it's trickling down and impacting our students' families.
The ballot measure would temporarily scrap California's Independent Redistricting Commission, the citizen panel created to take the politics out of map drawing and give that control back to state lawmakers for the next 3 elections. The goal, to lock in new boundaries that could add up to 5 more Democratic seats in the House, on top of California's current 43 Democratic seats. It's in direct response to Republican-led redistricting efforts that began in Texas.
So there's a huge amount at stake here with galactic egos, a ton of money, and a universe of voters that is kind of stuck in the middle, just starting to pay attention.
Sonoma state political expert David McEwen says midterm elections historically result in big losses for the party in power. In this case, the Republican Party, which controls all 3 branches of government. Redistricting is a way to minimize those losses for Republicans.
California may offset Texas, but other states like Indiana, Ohio, even Michigan, even Wisconsin, and certainly states like Missouri and Florida provide a place where Republicans can run up the score a little bit.
But critics, including Republican leaders like Corinne Rankin, say the measure is a power grab, putting partisan politics back in charge of district drawing.
What this does is it completely takes away the voices of community members, and it allows politicians in Sacramento to decide who's going to represent communities.
For Regina, it's about impact, the federal funding that fuels her classrooms and the fairness she teaches each day.
Here we are doing our personal best to make sure all students are learning, all families are getting their services when politicians are out there cutting it. Yeah, my vote does have an impact, and my colleagues know that as well, so we're really glad to be working on this.
It is important to note that several other Republican and Democratic states are considering redrawing their district lines before next year's midterms. Lauren's going to follow every development on Prop 50 leading up to that special election on November 4th. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, it has been 8 years since one of the most destructive wildfires in Bay Area history. To date, we are taking you to one of the hardest hit areas to check on the road to rebuilding.
I love to see the area repopulated in a very responsible way.
It's a good neighborhood, it really is.
Plus, we are going to introduce you to the local high school band, hoping to take home a title this Fleet Week.
Well, daytime highs today are nice and cool. We're talking about 70s in the forecast over into our inland spots day by day as we dive into this weekend's forecast. A little bit of drizzle in the forecast today and tomorrow. It should start clearing up just in time for this weekend. Beautiful conditions by Saturday and Sunday with wetter weather as early as next Monday. Now you make your way over into our inland spots. Of course, we're holding on tight to 70s, but we're seeing a similar pattern over into the Bay too. 70s mixed with 60s throughout the next couple days with cloudy skies and light showers in the forecast tapering off by Saturday.
Well, today we are looking inside the struggle to rebuild neighborhoods leveled by one of the most destructive wildfires in Bay Area history. 8 years ago, the Tubbs fire ignited near Calistoga and destroyed thousands of homes across Napa, Sonoma, and Lake counties. Over the next few weeks, it killed 22 people and destroyed more than 5,600 homes and other buildings. It burned an area bigger than the size of San Francisco. Parts of Santa Rosa look completely different today. Kenny Choi went back to the Coffee Park neighborhood and talked to people who recalled the horror when the flames broke out.
What was a neighborhood burned to ashes by an unrelenting inferno 8 years ago, Santa Rosa's Coffey Park is these days hardly recognizable. Emil Lyon lived through the terror.
Young guy came and pounded on our door and said, "We got to get out of here. There's a big fire."
His old red truck somehow survived and still runs strong, but the Tubbs fire destroyed his home.
Took us a while to get out of here, but we got out of here.
He was displaced for nearly 2 years before his home was eventually rebuilt. He continues to fill his front yard with plants. Paul Lowenthal is spokesperson for Santa Rosa Fire.
You look at Coffey Park, over 90%, 96, 97% rebuilt, very few vacant lots. Fountain Grove still has a lot of construction underway. However, there are a lot of people back home, which is great to see.
Residents say they're accustomed to nearly a decade of constant construction. The owner of this home in the Larkfield Wickiup neighborhood, who wasn't able to talk to us on camera, says he's fortunate his home will be completed. But others in the area haven't been able to rebuild. Experts say a lack of insurance or no insurance at all is a common reason why. Empty lots for sale abound amid newly constructed homes.
I love to see the area repopulated in a very responsible way.
This homeowner moved in after the 2017 wildfire and says it's good to see more accessory dwelling units also popping up in the neighborhood. His main concern is whether residents will remain vigilant and prepared for the next wildfire, whenever that might be. As residents build more fire-resistant homes, the city's fire department has bolstered its staff and added a new engine company after voters approved County Ballot Measure H, giving them more resources. Scott Westrope is chief of the Santa Rosa Fire Department.
It was the right time to put these new units in service around the anniversary of the Tubbs, but it builds into the resiliency that we've worked so hard on the last 8 years in Santa Rosa.
Fire officials say certain areas, including Fountain Grove, have been rid of dangerous tree canopies, but that in some cases, invasive, heavy vegetation is worse than it was in 2017. In Coffey Park, residents like Emil have settled into his familiar but new neighborhood in many ways.
It's a good neighborhood, it really is.
Like so many in Santa Rosa, he's adapted and pressing forward in a resilient way.
Well, fire investigators determined that the Tubbs fire was caused by an electrical system that was not owned by PG&E, but a portion of PG&E's $13.5 billion settlement for other wildfires did go to victims of the Tubbs fire. We are learning about a revolutionary benefit to Caltrain's all-electric fleet. Turns out it has been giving back to the power grid, and now Caltrain is finally getting the credit. The technology behind it is called regenerative braking. Each time a train breaks, nearly a quarter of that energy is fed back into the system. For the past year, that power went back into the grid for free. But now a new partnership could send millions of dollars back to Caltrain.
This is a smart, practical climate action, and it shouldn't stop here. We need this approach statewide so that every community can make transit cleaner.
The deal is between Caltrain and the agencies that power the rail system, that is Peninsula Clean Energy and San Jose Clean Energy. Caltrain says the move to electric cuts about 250,000 metric tons of greenhouse gases each year. That is equivalent to taking 55,000 cars off the road. The expansion of Highway 37 in the North Bay is now on the fast track. We're talking specifically about the stretch between Novato and Vallejo's Mare Island. That area is known for gridlock, even during non-peak hours. Caltrans plans to address the issue by adding a carpool lane on each side. But under the current laws, crews can only work 3 months out of the year because of potential impacts on 4 local animal species. Now, Governor Newsom has signed a bill that waives some of those rules to speed things up. It has been a little more than a month since BART launched its tap-to-pay system, and now we know how many riders are actually using it. BART data shows it was used for nearly 8% of all trips over the last 5 weeks. The tap-to-pay system allows riders to pay using credit or debit cards instead of a Clipper card. BART says ridership is up 25% since January, and agency officials say the contactless payment might be a reason. There is much more happening at Fleet Week besides the ships and the air shows. High school marching bands are competing for $10,000 and some bragging rights. They're aiming for the title of Best Band in the Bay Area. Bands from 2 East Bay high schools, Pittsburgh and Concord, have dominated the competition in recent years. But one school in the South Bay, Morgan Hills and Sobrato High, is coming for the crown. Suji Nam meets the drum major who believes his band can smash it.
I've been playing for maybe about 7 years, you could say.
It's what Suleiman Ahmadi looks forward to the most after school.
Bell piece consists of some tuning slides that can help you with your tuning and fix your pitch when you're on the field.
He, along with his marching bandmates at Ann Sobrato High School in Morgan Hill, practice for 14 hours each week.
The powerful thing about practicing is like we're all with each other, and all it's really that family, that type of bond we get in marching band.
And as the drum major, Ahmadi is passionate about leading. This is the band's 5th year competing in San Francisco's Fleet Week High School Band Challenge.
Set that expectation of good leadership, of kind of leading as an example.
The school's theme this year, Past World, Future World.
It's definitely a good way to get everyone together and kind of just get good at something that we're trying to work on.
A little more than 50 students make up the marching band, performing alongside several color guards.
All right, reach up.
They spend hours under the sun practicing marching to the beat.
We're small but mighty, and it kind of validates the hard work and the fact that quality over quantity.
Greg Chambers has been the band director for more than a decade and is so proud of his students.
If we were to win, it would be really exciting. I mean, we've always placed in kind of the top 3, but we love the experience, and we love that it exposes our kids to what other high schools are doing too.
And for Ahmadi, he's soaking up every second. As a graduating senior, this will be his last Fleet Week challenge.
It really shows us, how to really communicate with people, how to make friends. I met my people here. I met some of my friends,
Making friends and priceless memories through the gift of music. It's truly a wonderful world.
The High School Band Challenge goes down Monday at the Golden Gate Park Band Shell. Again, check out our live coverage of the Fleet Week shows in San Francisco tomorrow. Starts at 2 p.m. on KPIX and streaming on the free CBS News app. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, a Bay Area Niners fan honoring her late husband, how she keeps his legacy alive with the red and gold.
near Mount Tam. They're still seeing some of that coastal moisture, but it's a lot drier throughout the rest of the Bay Area. That's going to dissipate a little bit more into the afternoon hours today. We'll see just partly cloudy skies. We'll pick up some more rain into the early morning hours tomorrow for Friday's forecast, mostly up in the North Bay. Models are showing this relatively light right now, closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain. But as we head into the evening hours tomorrow night, we'll monitor that system closely as it continues to push in just a little bit more showers from offshore. So 60s as we head into this weekend's forecast. That's what's on tap for us just in time for Fleet Week. You take a look at the next 7 days. We're going to stay dry for this weekend, but as early as next Monday, we do have rain on tap for us all throughout the Bay Area with cooler temperatures around the corner.
Well, the 49ers are getting ready for another tough road game this weekend against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That game airs Sunday on KPIX and streaming on Paramount+. Both teams are entering the game with a 4-1 record. This season is already memorable for one Niners fan who is keeping her late husband's legacy alive at every home game this year. Kevin Coe shares her story.
Norma Jean Quesada still remembers her first date with her husband, Roger.
He asked me if I would come with him to his game.
A season ticket holder since Candlestick, Roger made it a routine to bring Norma Jean to watch his 49ers until he suddenly passed away last year.
I told him that I was going to always do my very best to keep my husband's legacy alive. He's got the best seats in heaven. His favorite number was 13. I have seat 13 and I have seat 14.
Norma Jean plans to keep her and Roger's season tickets as long as she can afford it. She moved to the Bay from Denver in 1977, so she still loves her hometown Broncos. But there isn't anything or anyone she loves more than her late husband.
More than just a game. I just know that my husband's always here with me. Bought me this beautiful red ruby ring for for Valentine's Day one year. I will always carry him in my little urn that I wear in my ring here. And my husband loved hummingbirds, so I have a part of him right here in my heart.
Also in her heart are her memories with Roger, including his favorite moments on game days.
He loved the national anthem. Anytime that they would do the national anthem, my husband would sit here and he would videotape it, and he would actually cheer up. By the dawn's early light.
As Norma Jean films in Roger's place, it's another small routine that makes up their favorite tradition, loving the team that brought them together and still keeps them together today.
He loved his San Francisco 49ers. The best thing that I can do to support my husband is keep his memory alive forever.
Again, the Niners taking on the Buccaneers this Sunday in Tampa Bay. It's going to be a battle of first-place teams, and you can watch it on KPIX and streaming on Paramount+. Kickoff at 1:25. Coming up here in our next half hour on CBS News Bay Area, it is not the viral moment a candidate for governor was hoping for. Details of the heated exchange that has some of the other candidates calling for Katie Porter to actually drop out.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for staying with us this Thursday. I'm Ann Makovic. Here's a look at some of our news headlines today. Neighbors believe 2 young girls are among the 4 people found dead inside a home in San Francisco yesterday. The other 2 believed to be their parents. Authorities found the bodies on Monterey Boulevard in Westwood Highlands after a relative requested a welfare check. Police have not said anything yet about the cause of death. They do say this is an isolated incident with no ongoing threat to the community. There are celebrations in the Middle East as Israel and Hamas make a move toward ending the 2-year war. The deal calls for Hamas to release all remaining hostages and for Israel to withdraw its forces to an agreed-upon line. There are still some concerns about procedural issues to iron out, but President Trump says the hostages could be released by Monday. And the Fleet Week shows will go on starting tomorrow in San Francisco. Despite the government shutdown, the Canadian snowbirds have flown into town, and the Ark Gloria from Colombia has pulled into port. This year, no parade of ships since the U.S. Navy is not participating. Blue Angels also looking unlikely. But the air show is still taking flight this weekend. Kicks off at 12:15 tomorrow. And let's get another check on our first alert forecast because we have some chances of rain coming up. Here's meteorologist Jessica Birch.
It's another cool and cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area, which is wild to think that earlier this week we were talking about 90s off into places like Antioch and upper 80s all the way up into the North Bay. That's not the case as we head into this afternoon. As we tilt the camera high, I just want to kind of paint this picture. Throughout the next 24 hours, we'll be dealing with light onshore showers, cooler weather in the forecast for us, about 10 degrees below average today in places like Santa Rosa, and we're seeing a similar pattern all the way down into places like Morgan Hill too. You take a look behind me as we continue to see this cold front push in. It is going to bring in just a light mist of showers. If anything, it'll amount closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain in places like the Mill Valley, all the way over into San Francisco too. Mostly just cloudy skies for us as we head into this afternoon, continuing to push in from offshore. Wind gust will get anywhere up to around 15 to 20 miles per hour today in our inland spots, a little bit breezier along the coast. Now I'm advancing the clock all the way into Friday evening. We'll continue to see light showers push throughout the North Bay, a chance of light showers pushing throughout the rest of the Bay Area before Saturday, but that's in the overnight hours. So for the most part, as we dive into this Fleet Week weekend, we're just talking about nice, cool weather. 60s on tap for us from Friday into Sunday with cloudier skies both Friday and Saturday. A beautiful warm up and a little bit of sunnier setup too as we head into this weekend for Sunday's forecast. Now we head into next week. By Monday, we're right back to rainy conditions. A better chance of heavier showers on tap for us by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So we kind of get this a little bit of a break. Light drizzle in the forecast today and tomorrow. Heavier conditions as we head into next Monday, but Saturday and Sunday right behind me. We're just holding on tight to 70s in our inland areas and partly cloudy and mostly sunny conditions. You make your way over into the Bay, it looks very similar too. We'll keep you updated on this forecast here in the Weather Center as changes are on the way.
A top contender to become California's next governor now facing calls to drop out of the race after an interview with CBS News California. It came when former Representative Katie Porter sat down with investigative correspondent Julie Watts to discuss a number of topics, including Prop 50, the redistricting ballot measure. Julie is talking to all the candidates for governor to get their thoughts on some of the biggest issues. We will talk to Julie about her conversation with Porter in just a moment, but first, let's hear from the candidates.
I just sat down with my 12-year-old daughter and explained redistricting.
Yes.
California voted for an independent commission.
Yes, we did.
And now our governor and our legislature are redrawing the lines so that they get to pick who goes to D.C. People who live in what is now a red county, when they vote for a Republican, that Republican goes to Congress. And now these people in power in California are going to take that vote away from those people. What do you say to that 12-year-old who says, did 2 wrongs make a right?
What I would tell her is take a look at what happens in Washington, D.C. You have a finite number of votes. Right now you have a nearly equal number of Republicans and Democrats. Donald Trump is afraid he's going to lose his slim majority of Republicans come 2026 elections.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying to rig the process to give himself more Republicans.
It's not 2 wrongs. This is different. What Texas is doing is acting out of the course of the census, not following new census data. They are not doing this after the census. They're not doing this through the normal course. They are doing this because
we're not doing it after the census either, right? We're mid-census term.
They're doing it because Donald Trump instructed them to do it. And who's doing it in Texas? Who's making the decision? the legislature.
Texas didn't change its constitution to take the power to draw the maps out of the hands of the politicians, put it in the hands of the people, which we did here. The rules are that you draw the maps straight after the federal census every 10 years. By drawing these maps in the middle, they don't know who lives where. Millions of people have left California. In Los Angeles, whole communities have burnt down. Who knows who lives where?
The Democrats, they want to consolidate power. And under the guise of fighting back against the Republicans and fighting back against Trump, you are handing them more power. Well, what have they done to earn it? Are y'all feeling that this has been a state that has been well run and for your best interest? So you're going to essentially hand them the keys to make sure that they own every district in the state?
It's let me tell you how broken something is by telling you I'm going to break it more.
My wife she doesn't like it. She doesn't support it. She thinks that districts should be drawn by independent redistricting commissions and that it is wrong for the state to be putting its finger on the scale. And for me, if we're going to have hope of any type of leverage during Donald Trump's presidency, it would be really helpful if Democrats controlled Congress. But again, this really illustrates a lot of the frustration that I have with not just my party, but politics in general, is that this is all in response to something that Donald Trump said. That is a great opportunity to rally the troops and introduce legislation in Congress and put them on the spot and make them say that we should continue to gerrymander across this country. I think that would have been more strategic, but here we are, we're left with this decision. And in my own family, day comes up, we vote.
A part of Julie's interview with former Representative Katie Porter is getting nationwide attention after the candidates' full interviews were posted online. You might have seen a clip on social media.
The question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it.
Well, we heard from Julie to give us some extra content to that clip.
We asked all 12 candidates the same questions, and Ms. Porter didn't want to answer that one. But yeah, it's important to note that this is just a small segment of a much larger project where we did ask questions on a variety of topics to really push beyond the campaign talking points and get candid and honest responses. And then we are rolling out these topic-specific issues, like you just saw there, longer segments. And there's a 30-minute segment online where the candidates answer all of these questions. This is a 3-minute piece that was excerpted, that somebody excerpted from that longer piece, put it on social media, and it immediately went viral overnight. But I think it is important to point out that Ms. Porter did stay, and she did continue the interview after that interaction. I think it's also important to note that we are hearing from candidates. We are hearing from a lot of folks, leaders in the Democratic Party, and people are voicing concerns publicly following that. In fact, some of the candidates, including former State Controller Betty Yee, the only other high-profile woman in the race, they're calling for Katie Porter to drop out.
Well, you can find much more about all the candidates and their stances on the important issues on our website, kpix.com. Well, President Trump's tariffs could hurt some people's holiday shopping. New data shows that imports from China dropped 23% in September. The National Retail Federation says those shipments included products specifically for the holidays. The tariffs also having a tangible impact on local small businesses. A store called Biordi Art Imports has stood in San Francisco's North Beach for generations. But now the owners tell our Veronica Macias they're not sure they can afford to stay open.
San Franciscans have been coming to Biordi's in North Beach since its opening in 1946. Inside, you'll find beautiful imported classic Italian ceramics.
It's definitely not easy, and we want to make it to 80.
Deborah Baldini says this was her passion project, the last owner entrusting her to carry on the store's legacy.
We have ceramics from Italy. This is Eugenio Ricciarelli. It's 100% hand-painted, handcrafted. It comes from a place called Deruta, which is in Umbria, a very, very famous place for selling ceramics.
However, importing any handcrafted item from Europe is significantly more expensive today as a result of the imposed tariffs. Baldini has been going through her invoices, and she says the reality is she can't absorb the increase in cost.
So this is what we get from FedEx for customs, as an example. It tells us what we owe for customs. So you have to go through it. And then we look at what the actual invoice was.
Overall, it's a 20% markup that is going to have to be passed on to the customer. Right now, it's hurting business on these luxury goods.
And what will happen is they're going to try to find business in other parts of the world, in Europe and other parts of the world that don't have the issues that we have.
That's exactly what Professor Caroline Chen from San Jose State University predicts will happen.
We don't want to buy your stuff, so we won't. We'll go to other countries and look at those countries who produce corn, rice.
Well, Chen says tariffs are bringing in money. She explains it's businesses like Baldini's who are paying the tax. The markups could push people to purchase 100% American-made products. The challenge is there aren't many products entirely made in the U.S., and companies can't make them available soon enough.
You're talking about years out. It isn't something that a lot of U.S. manufacturers or businesses can turn around very quickly and easily and produce all of the components that all U.S. companies need to put their products together.
These are being made
Not
by
only is Baldini worried about her bottom line, she's concerned about those she's traded with overseas for years.
These are like real people that depend on us for their livelihood, particularly because we've been working with many of them for many, 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 many decades.
But in her case, the craftsmanship here from Italy can't be replicated.
Like Professor Chen said, farmers are hurting too. Just yesterday, CBS News reported how China is now buying soybeans from Argentina during this trade war. Soybeans are America's biggest agricultural export. Coming up next here on CBS News Bay Area, we are going to meet some local residents who came up with a creative way to help small businesses in their neighborhood.
It's all about community. It's about people coming together.
The impact of their work and why it's now in jeopardy. Plus,
Girls Who Play Sports Become Women Who Lead, the San Jose-based program that's creating the next generation of women leaders, coming up.
Well, daytime highs today are nice and cool. We're talking about 70s in the forecast over into our inland spots day by day as we dive into this weekend's forecast. A little bit of drizzle in the forecast today and tomorrow. It should start clearing up just in time for this weekend. Beautiful conditions by Saturday and Sunday with wetter weather as early as next Monday. Now you make your way over into our inland spots. Of course, we're holding on tight to 70s, but we're seeing a similar pattern over into the Bay too. 70s mixed with 60s throughout the next couple days with cloudy skies and light showers in the forecast tapering off by Saturday.
A San Francisco organization is facing some major financial challenges after the city cut its funding. Still, Mission Loteria is working to raise money to support programs like their Shop Local initiative that features custom stickers for each business inspired by the Mexican bingo game Loteria. Suji Nam has their story.
Luis Quiros believes in the mission of bringing the community together.
¿Cómo están?
And through his organization, Mission Loteria, he helps host events like Taco Week.
We're having an event here today at El Gran Taco Loco, and we're just setting up our merch table.
Quiros is prepping for the free salsa making workshop.
Thanks for coming tonight.
But events like these are in jeopardy. Since its launch in 2019, Mission Loteria had been receiving $30,000 yearly from the city of San Francisco for its Shop Local campaign in the Mission District, which promotes local businesses.
You basically collect your stickers at different shopping locations, different restaurants, different cafes, and each business will give you a sticker with your purchase.
Due to changes in the city budget, that funding dried up this fiscal year, which prompted Quiros to start an online fundraiser to raise money for things like Loteria cards and outreach resources.
By October 15th, we'll be able to decide whether or not we can continue to move forward with the planning.
Ana Valle, the owner of Abanico Coffee Roasters, says Mission Loteria helps create visibility for local businesses like hers and hopes the city and community can pitch in to keep them going.
We all appreciate in the neighborhood just bringing more people into the area to discover all the beautiful, wonderful places that the Mission has to offer.
Offering cultural experiences like these.
It's all about community. It's about people coming together, supporting with real dollars, coming back to their community.
He says while they may need to readjust their outreach due to budget cuts, he plans to petition for more city funding in the future.
We've shown up for the community continues to show up for us, and so we're going to keep that relationship going.
In the meantime, Quiros vows to stay true to his mission of uplifting his community.
And you can check out our special Una Familia next Thursday, October 16th, 7:30 on KPIX and streaming on the free CBS News app. Coming up here on CBS News Bay Area, she empowers girls to become women who lead on and off the field. How Dr. Dana is showing them that bossy can be beautiful.
I want them to know that they are bossy on the playground, in the classroom, and at home.
A play, lead, succeed. Not just a catchy saying, it is happening for Bay Area girls on sports fields and beyond. And a pediatrician has helped leading the way. Sharon Chin introduces us to this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award winner.
Dr. Dana Weintraub played soccer and other sports growing up.
Learning the leadership lessons, teamwork, resilience, the confidence that I gained from participation in sports, all of these fed into who I became.
And that's why Dr. Dana works to give girls an equal chance to play. The pediatrician heads up the Bay Area Women's Sports Initiative, also known as Bossy.
I want them to know that they are bossy on the playground, in the classroom, and at home.
The San Jose nonprofit connects 2nd to 12th grade girls from under-resourced communities to women athletes for play and leadership development. It also leads activities for girls and boys living with disabilities. Bossy was founded 20 years ago by soccer stars Brandy Chastain and Julie Foudy and executive Marlene Bjarnsrud after the Women's United Soccer Association folded. 5 years ago, Dr. Dana took the ball as CEO, and since then, Bossy has expanded, adding middle and high school leadership programs that include career days and visits to universities and businesses. Enrollment's grown nearly 50% to 1,400 children at about 24 schools. Aria DeZacco could not wait to be old enough to join Bossy's after-school program at Blackford Elementary School in San Jose.
I waited the whole year and then I got to go. I'm a 2nd grader now. It's just amazing to me. I love it.
Students are building confidence while having fun, like Nadine Nappy.
It makes me want to try different sports and learn on different sports and never give up.
There's a lot to feel good about. Dr. Dana led a survey of alumni that found more than 90% of Bossy girls graduated from high school, and most continued to college and kept playing sports.
We would hear the same words come from our alumni about empowerment, role models, strong women. The first time they had the opportunity to see strong women leaders who looked like them.
We are going to be distributing them.
And while Dr. Dana credits Bossy's team of paid and volunteer coaches for its success, one of its program directors, Kimberly Ramirez, says the inspiration flows from the top.
I guess what we were talking about, like that bossy magic that she brings to everyone, making people feel seen, so listening to them, and also inviting them out to wherever she's a part of.
If they can see her, they can be her. And our bossy girls can definitely see her today in the Bay.
3, 2, 1.
So for her leadership in expanding Bossy for the next generation, this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award goes to Dr. Dana Weintraub.
Well, Dr. Dana worked as a pediatrician at Stanford Medicine's Children's Health for more than 20 years, before becoming Bossy's CEO full-time over a year ago. She's on the board of the U.S. Soccer Foundation and also founded the Peninsula Family Advocacy Program that helps low-income families with medical and legal concerns. You can nominate a local hero for a CBS News Bay Area Icon Award on our website, kpix.com/icon. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to be right back with your first alert forecast and another look at your top stories.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for being with us this Thursday. I'm Ann Makovic. Here's a look at some of our news headlines this morning. Neighbors believe 2 young girls are among the 4 people found dead inside a home in San Francisco yesterday. The other 2 believed to be their parents.